Hello, BookTube. It's weekend, so cheers. Part 2 of a book haul. Weekend type of book haul. We went out to Queechee. Some of you have heard of that before. It's like an antique barn, and then people have booths or areas. And then we went to another antique place on the other side of the gorge from it. So found some good stuff. And the first thing, well, not in the order I found them, but in the order I want to show them, is this lovely thing. By Way of Cape Horn, 4 Months in a Yankee Clipper by Paul E. Stevenson. And let me get here. This is the 4th edition. It's a beautiful book. J.B. Lippincott and Company out of Philadelphia, 1908. I've never read it. The original copyright's 1898, but this is 4th edition, of course. It does have a charming map, fold-out map of the route. And so, as many of you know who read maritime fiction and nonfiction, Cape Horn can be quite a challenge with storms and all that. And when a sailing vessel, of course, it's even more. This thing is really, really illustrated. This is a plan of a cabin. I just get some random photos here. But I have, like I say, I haven't had a chance to go through them. Here, let me see if I can get that one. No, it looks really interesting. So I'd be glad to read it. Add it to the Maritime collection. Pretty solid thing. I love the cover. And then the next two things I found are volumes related to bibliophiles, book collectors, booksellers, that sort of thing. And one of them looks really good, and one of them just looks fantastic. So the first one here I've never read is Sean Bethel, I think, or Bethel. Confessions of a Bookseller. Lovely cover again. This David Argodine, publisher out of Boston. This person's also done a book called The Diary of a Bookseller. And this one here is from 2019. First printing in the United States of America 2020. So I don't know how that quite works. Okay, so yeah, that's probably British copyright. And the first date in it is January 2015 for an entry. Got a cat over there tearing up the scratching post. So let's see. At the age of 30, Sean Bethel, or Bithell, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, returned to his childhood home of Wigtown, Scotland, and brought the Bookshop, the largest second-hand bookshop in the country. Situated on the high road in a rural seaside village, the stone-faced Georgian townhouse is jammed with more than 100,000 books spread over a mile of shelving. I would like to see that place. There are twisting corridors, roaring fires, and a portly shop cat. It seemed like a book lover's paradise. It does. Confession of a Bookseller, sardonic and sympathetic in equal measure, charts the highs and lows of a year in the life of a charmingly cantankerous bookseller whose passion for books in his community outweigh, usually, his disdain for dim-witted customers. That's nice. Join Bithell as he travels the Scottish countryside on buying trips to old estates, attempts to manage a small but hugely eccentric staff, and serves both loyal customers as well as awkward tourists who ask questions such as, "Do you have a list of all your books, or do I just have to stare at them?" Okay. Yeah, all right, let's see. And here is our author. So, yeah. And then, maybe the find of the day. A little piece of paper stuck in it for a reason. This is let me get this out of here. This is With All Faults, David Lowe, and this is Amate Press. And you can see on the cover here it says David Lowe, bookseller, 17 Cecil Court. Let me give you a look at this. So London and Emmington, I guess that's the route. Here's the price. And here it's signed With All Faults, and then the author is signed under Mea Culpa, David Lowe. I'm going to show it to you. There you go. So it's about a bookseller, and it has an introduction by Graham Greene, Tehran, the Amate Press, 1973, and he explains when I looked through it that the reason for the press and all that is that it was his friend, and this is the first book off his friend's printing press. And that scene here is Holywell Street, Booksellers Row, London, 1898, wash drawing by a hand-slipped Fletcher. So let me get a look at that. So Graham Greene's a pretty good person to have do your introduction. So the Amate Press, Tehran, distributed by David Lowe Bookseller Limited, Emmington, in Oxford, and copyrights 1973. Printing in Great Britain by Burgess and Son. And then to my bookseller friends, my partners Billy Howard and Robin Waterfield. And so I opened this up. I'm excited to see it. And I got this little passage. It's the first thing that I read, and it's really pretty much the only thing I've read. This was the floor Benny Marks knew I was going to, though it was to his partner, Mark Cohen, that I had to go for the reckoning. It was the fairest, no-nonsense bookshop I ever knew. It closed 2 years ago, partly because of the deaths of Benny Marks and the faithful manager, Frank Dole, but mainly because of the overheads in a main thoroughfare. How could a shop with 3 floors and a basement survive on the sale of individual books while its neighbors were turning over paperbacks, piano accordions, or suits of clothing as fast as they could get them? I am glad that in her 84 Charing Cross Road, Miss Helene Hanff has written the memorial to a bookshop which, knowing all about its books, was sometimes perplexed about its customers, especially about this lady from New York, but in the end was to respond as warmly as she had begun the correspondence. So we're talking about Joseph and Marks, and we're talking about 84 Charing Cross Road. Right off the bat, Marks and Cohen, if those of you who've seen the movie or read 84 Charing Cross Road will know who this is. So immediately it's something I was familiar with. There are photos in here. Let's see if I can show you through. Get the pages going there. There we are. I'm not picking pictures because I know what they are. I'm picking them because I'm getting to them easier. The book plate. There's the bookseller's sign. So let me see if they got an inside of the. Here we go. Eric Blundell's 15th Century Bookshop in Lewes. And then there's pictures on the other side. I haven't gone through to see if they had 84 Charing Cross Road in here or not. I don't know how big a part of that story it is, but I will find out. So about a bookseller, so thrilled to have it signed. And I will give this a read really quickly. So it's not a very big thing, but it does look interesting. So today I can do a pyramid. So I've got Confessions of a Bookseller in Scotland. I've got another bookseller, David Lowe, who is in England. Then I got The Way of Cape Horn, 4 months in a Yankee Clipper by Paul E. Stevenson. Really like that. And small pyramid, but some good stuff there. So thank you, BookTube, and I hope you have a good rest of your weekend.